righty. As you see by the first slide, you'll see the Illinois Assistive Technology Program. I'm going to go into a general overview for you all, and then we can maybe delve into some specifics during the Q&A later. So who is the Illinois Assistive Technology Program? It is actually a statewide nonprofit agency like yourselves that's been responsible for implementing the Assistive Technology Act since 1989. If you want, you can go ahead and take the next slide. Go to the next slide. Great. IATP promotes the availability of assisted technology, the devices and the services for people who have disabilities and other people of all other ages with other health conditions. Next slide. So who do we serve? The Illinois Assistive Technology Program is actually statewide, and it does serve persons through a person-centered program of with people that usually have some sort of disability, their families, service providers, other state agencies, private industries, educators, teachers, OTs, PTs, and other interested individuals, regardless of their age and regardless of their income. So next slide, please, to give you an idea of what it is that we do with how we have items for folks to utilize. We actually, at our location, which is in Springfield, Illinois, I'm going to show you this beautiful picture of our office. It's actually a former hospital in Springfield, Illinois. So if you're ever in Springfield, come on by, stop in and see us. It's located in a formerly known hospital, and we took it over in 2022. We have an assisted technology demonstration center on the first floor. It's incredible. So it'd be really cool for any of you to come and see it in person, but obviously through our website, you can also take a look at everything we offer. We have a device loan program. We have an assisted technology reuse program. We have different state financing activities. We have trainings we do throughout the state. We do provide technical assistance. A lot of times that's going to be with people that are working on websites and folks who of other agencies and of other corporations or businesses and other state agencies that want to make sure that their websites are accessible. And so how do you do that? What kind of verbiage do you use? What kind of colors do you use? What kind of font should you be looking at? All of that we do for our technical assistance. We also just have in general information and assistance. We do work with ISB, the Illinois State Education Board, for in schools for individual individual education programs, and assisted technology support for students who need us. And then the other thing we do is something like tonight, public awareness and outreach, just to kind of get the word out so people know what it is that's available to them and who we are. Next slide. So I mentioned this a little bit, but servicing ISB, which is the Illinois State Board of Education, we do device loans and assisted technology. We do that with alternative and augmentative communication, otherwise known as AAC. We provide the evaluation services. AAC are tools that are systems and strategies that help individuals communicate when they have difficulty with communicating, whether they cannot do that either verbally or and they really can't hear. It depends what the issue is. The assisted technology and home modification evaluations. This is very interesting for us. We do a lot of work with our older adults for this, but also vocational rehab services and home services through the Illinois Department of Human Services. The work incentive planning and assistance program. We work a lot with trying to make sure that if folks want to work, that they have the tools they need in order to be able to do that wherever they work throughout the state of Illinois. One program that I was really instrumental in starting in 2020 during the pandemic when I was director of the Illinois Department on Aging was the Illinois Care Connections Program, or called ICC, which we then really did try to target and reach out to isolated, lonely older adults during the pandemic when we knew no one could get out, and it really was important for people to stay connected. Then the last thing you see is the Center for Assistive Technology, the ACT data system, assistance data. Basically, that's something that we have to do. Probably a lot of you on this Zoom tonight understand that data is important. Good data obviously drives very good decisions as to how you want to fund programs and what's working and what's not working and why. Next slide. So, what is assistive technology and what is a device? That is any item, any piece of equipment, a product system, whether it's acquired commercially off the shelf. You could maybe get it on Amazon. I don't know, right? Who knows? Or you could get it through us, or you could get it through a health device. It depends. It can be modified, customized, and that is used to increase, maintain, and improve functional capability of individuals that are with disabilities. Next slide. Again, the assistive technology services is any service that directly assists an individual with a disability in a selection and acquisition or the use of an assistive technology device. So we want to make sure that we know that we're there to help with those things. I want to talk a little bit. There's not a slide for this, so I'm going to just kind of talk through this. A little history of what is the Assistive Technology Act. It was actually a national act in Congress that was passed in 1998. It was again amended in 2004. It is a federal law. It aims to increase access to assistive technology for persons with disabilities and persons of all ages. It continually gets reauthorized, and when those reauthorizations happen on a federal level, you see that the programs get revised, right? Things are changing, as we all know, and especially those of you on this call tonight, on this Zoom tonight, know, especially with the technology side of things, it is changing rapidly. And so with the 2004 amendments, it really tried to improve access to assistive technology. And so they wanted to make sure that they would have a national public internet site and that they would award grants for public awareness initiatives for supporting assistive technology research, that they would look at development and again look at training programs. I want to say something about training. Training is really key here because as you all know, as we all know, all of these assistive technology devices are very individualized. What works for one person is not going to work for everybody. So it's going to be very much person centered. And so that is a challenge, but it's also a good thing as well because you want someone to use a device. If we're going to give you the device, we want you to be able to use it. And it's going to change, hopefully, your life and improve the quality of your life for better. So it's very important that we look at person-centered planning on that, and that the AT is used for individuals, and that the individual is actually going to use it for an everyday, um, for whatever they use on an everyday basis. So we have grants for public awareness. The Act supports actually grants for developing and distributing a public awareness toolkit. There is funding for assistive technology for research and development. The Act itself allocates funds for these kinds of research and developments in the field. We also have funds for training and technical assistance. And then we have a lot of the statewide programs that go through the different state agencies that really support state level initiatives that help to improve the provision of the AT services and devices. It ensures a broader range of assistance for persons with disabilities. It's very much a consumer involved design. Again, what works for one person does not always work for everybody. And so you're going to make things, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, especially with our 3D Makers program, that is going to be made just for this person alone and what that looks like. It really, the act itself, the AT Act, emphasizes the incredible importance of including individuals with disabilities and their advocates into the design of the AT programs and services. So I hope that kind of gives you a little background that's helpful. So let's jump into the next slide where it talks about our demo center. Our demonstration center, like I talked about earlier, is located in Springfield. But you can, but if you can't come to see us, we'll arrange to bring the devices to you. We can ship things to you. We do a lot, obviously, by Zoom, like you all do. A lot that we do by phone or email, just depends. The device demonstrations provide hands-on exploration and the opportunity to compare features of similar devices. You want to discuss with an expert what your needs are and then learn about the possible solutions. Next slide. So the categories of assistive technology at our demonstration center, these are the categories that you'll see when you come to the demo center. You'll see things that are helping with vision, with hearing, with speech, with learning, cognition, and development, with mobility, seating, positioning, with daily life, with environmental adaptations, computers, and sports, recreation, and leisure. So that's really pretty comprehensive as a list goes, right? Let's look at our vision devices. If you want to go to the next slide, please. The vision devices that you see here, I think, are very helpful. So it kind of gives you a visual of what it is the vision devices are. The next, we'll look at developmental and sensory items and devices. Next slide. And again, remember, these are for all ages of persons, right? From children to teenagers to young adults to adults to older adults. So it really does go the gamut. So how do you do and access some of these device loans? So let's go to the next slide. So the device loan program actually has trial devices to support informed decision making. What happens is you can get something and take and use it and see if it's going to be something you're going to really benefit from. You use it as a backup, maybe that you could be waiting for something to be repaired. You can use it to ensure compatibility between your device and the user. This can be used by therapists to conduct evaluations. And again, because we are a statewide program, this is available to anyone in the state of Illinois. Next slide. The device loan program, you can have a device for up to 6 weeks. The device can be picked up by us, or we can go ahead and you can ship it back to us after you've used it and it's working. And then to see the device loan for what you need, please, please, please go to our website and take a look at all the different items that we have that are available to you. And it basically will help you then to look at the device and then click on it, and you can try it at that time. And then we would go ahead and send it to you. Next slide. Another really big program is our Assistive Technology Reuse Program. And this, of course, what I've noticed is that it really does target a lot of older adults who really do need and use durable medical equipment, but also things that maybe are only for a short time. Maybe someone has just had a knee replacement or broke their shoulder, or eventually after PT and some other things are better, they don't need the device anymore. But what we do through our AT program, reuse program, is we provide new and pre-owned assistive technology and, like I said, durable medical equipment, or DME, to persons who can't afford to purchase it new, or those who have insurance coverage or don't have any insurance coverage that basically needs the devices itself. Recipients can keep these devices for this program for as long as they need it. We accept gently used equipment also for donations. So if you have stuff and you have things in your homes or other people, from wheelchairs, walkers, canes, rollators, whatever you've got, as you can see by the little slide there, we would take it and we would go ahead and we sanitize it and clean it up and make sure it works. And then we reuse it, and you give us a donation, which we love. All donated items are properly sanitized before we would ever give it out. Next slide. So how does the state financing piece look? We have a smart home technology. We have, in that smart home technology, we have a tech kitchen. We have someone who's nutritionist, a dietitian on staff who actually helps with folks to come into the tech kitchen if they want to learn how to do planning, prep, or cook in their homes. Again, the whole point of this is that we want to make sure people are going to stay in their homes as long as possible and have an increased quality of their life for whatever disability they may have experienced, whether it's long-term disability or whether it's something that just happened. And they know that hopefully with some PT or OT, they would be getting stronger and better on their own, but they need it now. So the other program that I think would be really good for you all to know about, of course, is our IATP Makers program, because these three programs together all provide assistive technology to our customers at a huge cost savings, typically at absolutely no cost to them at all, where we ship things out at no cost for free. So let's delve into the next slide, which is going to talk about our smart home technology. It's a really incredible place. And again, if you could ever get to Springfield to see the smart home on the first floor of the building that we occupy, which, like I said, was a hospital, you would be blown away. It's an it's an actual home where it's a simulated, fully functioning smart home demonstration center. This is where we do evaluations, and it's providing to targeted groups to determine if an appropriate smart home technology would work in your home. So, for example, next slide, take a look at what it is going to look like. You'll actually go into a kitchen. You'll actually go into a living room, go into a bedroom, go into a bathroom, and take a look at what we have there. And then what does a smart home do? What are some of the devices that help persons live in their homes comfortably and independently? And then how do you use it, right? I think a lot of times people are, especially our older adults, are afraid of, well, yeah, I don't want that. I don't know how to use it. I don't want to break it. Some of the those fears are very real as folks get older. So I think what's great about the demo center, the demonstration center, is that you can actually walk around with our staff, and our staff is very hands on with the folks that we serve, so that we would show you, we would help you explain and then see how it would work if you needed it in your own home. Next slide, please. Again, I'm going to go back to the tech kitchen, where basically it's a home style kitchen classroom. It showcases the accessibility and the tools that help make cooking possible, easier, and absolutely safer, so that you don't want anyone to have anything happen, like a burn or something fall or spill or whatever. We have classes there. We have free classes, again, with our staff that is right there in the tech kitchen that will help work with people, a nutritionist, a dietitian, people that want to talk about some of the things. Maybe they're diabetic, and these are some of the things that they really have to watch. They have to measure things before they can do things. Maybe they're on dialysis, or depending what their physical limitation is, they need to have a special kind of diet. So free classes are based on the participants' goals. It will always include a actual cooking class. It will have baking. It will have nutrition suggestions. It will talk about your budget. How do you plan a menu? And then much, much more. Next slide. So you'll see a picture of some of the things that we have. You'll see to the right, you'll see the in the tech kitchen, the smart oven, the smart microwave, the toaster, the coffee pots, it has all of that there. The things, the cabinets in your kitchen that are too high, you can't reach them. So how do you bring them down so that if you're in a wheelchair, and as you'll see below the stove, you'll see how they have more cabinets below, even if you're wheelchair bound, um, or you're confined to a wheelchair. So, I mean, it really, again, depends what your disability is or how you would need it, but uh, it really wants to look at what it is you need because it's for you. So how would that be? Next slide. So this is a great, great program, and I would really encourage you all to go on the website for the where it says see information. to go onto the IATPmakers.org website. It's a really cool, amazing thing that we do. We have a actual makers program that we are making in-house at our location in Springfield, which provides assistive technology for those who have a need for any kind of fabricated device, primarily through the 3D printing, pressure forming, and laser cutting. It's incredible. We think we have about 3 or 4 engineers who are working with us. We have students, obviously. Many of them are doing capstone projects at different universities throughout the state. But it's a really amazing thing because everything, as we all know, it is incredibly individualistic, right? It's individual how you're going to need something. And so we would make that to fit what it was that you need. And it's just how amazing how we've changed people's lives because of this program. Next slide. It'll give you an idea. The next slide will show you a little bit some of the things there. If we were in person, I would have brought a little plastic container full of little, I call them toys, but they're actually actual items that I bring with me when I do programs and trainings and outreaches that show people what all the different things are from, rulers to things that will help you bring, all kind. The ruler would be the thing that would help you get the oven rack out to all kinds of things like a spoon that will attach to the front of your hand if you have no mobility here, if you don't have a hand, how you would be able to attach something that they would make for you that would help you get mobility. And it's just incredible the things that can be done and made. So I highly encourage you to go take a look at that. And again, come to Springfield. It's a beautiful place, and there's other things to do. The Lincoln Library is there, but come down and see us. And next slide, please. So the Illinois State Board of Education, ISB, has an AT, and because we are the AT program, the Assistive Technology Program for the state of Illinois, we do the AAC evaluations, and then we have the loans that are available at no cost. So we work with schools that, again, with no cost to schools statewide on a first come, first served basis. We have both the assistive technology and the AAC evaluations available for students from 3 years old to 22 years old throughout the state of Illinois. We go ahead and work with folks, the students and their teachers that recommend assistive technology and AAC devices that are loaned to schools, and these schools get this for a 6-week trial basis. We, of course, make sure that we do and provide the training so that if you're going to get these devices, you're going to know what to do and how the students can utilize them. And on the AT and AAC trainings, you can request for us to come to the school. We're happy to meet with all the school staff, personnel, and of course, the parents and or the caregivers of those students. Next slide. So an IEP, some of you may be familiar with this, the Individualized Education Plan and the 504 Plan Advocacy is also available through IATP. And an education liaison that we have is always available to work with school districts regarding the policies surrounding the assistive technology use in the school environment. So again, this is a statewide program. Um, I believe the slides can be shared, absolutely. So I would think that'd be great. The next slide, please. The Vocational Rehab Evaluation and Fast Track Program. Again, we have staff that's called ATS staff, Assistive Technology Specialists, that will go out, the assistive technology and the home modifications that are done, the evaluations are done for DHS or DOORS customers. DHS stands for the Department of Human Services, and DOORS stands for the Department of Rehab Services for those customers. The focus is on employment, is on very much employment and individual and independent living needs of all the customers. The Fast Track is a bulk purchasing program that provides a cost savings to the state and ensures a timely delivery of the equipment that they need to our customers. And then we do the individualized training for AT devices and then make sure to follow it up so that folks are utilizing the devices themselves, that it's working out well. And if they have, of course, follow-up questions, that we would answer and ask all those things. Because it could also take that you don't just need the training once, right? You may need it a couple of times to make sure that you're getting it right, that you're using the device properly. So we walk with you every step of the way. And at every point in time, you can always reach back out to us and say, no, I need this or I need that, or, I need you to talk to me through this again. Maybe you can come out and show me. Absolutely, our staff is the ATS specialist is on to help you with everything. Next slide, please. The Work Incentives Planning and Assistance Program, those are for individuals who are receiving SSI or SSDI, which is the Social Security program. That explains that Social Security work incentives that are sometimes required through either our other state and federal programs are in order to get those benefits, you must do have some sort of job. And what we find too oftentimes, a lot of our folks want to work. They really are actively wanting to be engaged in the world and really do want to be able to do and give back to the world. So it's a beneficial program all the way around. Again, it is open to anyone between the ages of 14 and all the way up through whenever you want to retire. And that you have to be receiving, though, the Social Security disability benefits. And you also want to be able to work. So we also do that, the Work Incentive Program. Next slide. I had touched on this a little bit earlier too when I talked about the Illinois Care Connections, ICC. This is a program that was started when I was director of the Illinois Department on Aging in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. Because it was funded through the Illinois Department on Aging, our programs are funded through the Older Americans Act, and part of that funding always is it's not means tested, but it is age required. So you have to be 60 years of age and older in order to receive our services. And so basically, what we did was the focus of the program was to enable social connectedness, that we would want them to maintain, a healthy and safe environment throughout the beginning days of the pandemic, which was so scary, especially to older adults. But we wanted to make sure that it was going to promote independence and community living so they could stay connected, to have the connectivity with loved ones, with people that they used to always see at the senior centers or wherever their churches, wherever they would go, that they were able to not they were able to keep communication open. Now, of course, fast forward 5 years later, right? It's not the same, but the technology is still very utilized. And what we find is a lot of older adults want the technology, like the bundles, we call them, of the iPads, hotspots, all the things, because they want to talk to their grandchildren who are in different states throughout the country or even the world, or they want to be able to do a book club on Zoom, or they if they're in their 80s or 90s, maybe they're not going to go out as often. Maybe they can do things that will be a lot, that will help them stay a lot more engaged if they have the technology available. So our OT, PT, and ATF staff, they work directly with our older adults in identifying the assistive technology programs and options that they would like to try. It's really important that you work with those folks, with our older adults. The assistive technology devices are available on loan, so we're constantly talking to them about how's it going. Are you using your equipment? Are you using the tablet? How, have you found it to be fine? Is it working? Making sure its use is effective. And then we're also making sure that we have training and technical assistance on hand so that we can make sure that they're using the devices. We follow up with everyone, all of our older adults, after 6 weeks, like clockwork. And we make sure that the device is actually being used, that it's appropriate, it's helpful. And then once we know that, they can actually keep it after the 6 weeks and keep it for as long as they would like and keep it as long as they need it. Next slide, please. Some of the other services that IATP provides, and I also kind of alluded to some of this, but you'll see is going to be training on accessibility for information and communication technologies. And I think I did talk about this, but I wanted to make sure to highlight. We do a lot of trainings with corporations, with other state agencies, with other groups, clubs, churches, anybody who really wants their documents to be accessible and user friendly. Accessible documents and websites. And we work with folks that want to do that. I think a bunch of our team just actually were at Normal, Illinois, and worked with the city council there to make sure that they were doing everything they could to put on their websites an accessible website about how to get pretty much everything on that they could utilize for persons who are living in their communities, no matter what their disability was. So they wanted to know, how do we do this? How do we make sure we're doing everything we can to make it accessible? Presentations about IATP services, something I'm doing today. Again, the tours of our AT demonstration center, the smart home, the maker center, the tech kitchen. We are open 5 days a week, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're always on to help with any kind of tour or tour group or tour guide or whatever you can walk, or you can just walk in. We do take walk-ins, and we are available at any moment. So, let's see. I guess we can probably talk about some of the questions later. And so the other thing that we would want to make sure you know about is that the professional development is on all different assistive technology programs and topics. I think for me, I think I'm going to wrap that up. That's going to be all that I have for you tonight. Again, well, keep going down if you would mind questions, and then past the questions is the last slide, which again shows you the actual, keep going. Yeah, there's the building so that you see it. And hopefully if you'd ever get down to see us, it would be wonderful. I actually am going down there. On Thursday and going to be there because we're going to have a booth at the Springfield Pride. This is Pride weekend for LGBT community in Springfield, and we have a booth there, which I'm very excited about. But also, we do all kinds of senior fairs, low vision, uh, abilities fairs. I mean, the whole world of assistive technology is throughout the country just blowing up, probably throughout the world. So it's really been for me, I know the world of aging services because that's my background. I've been in working with older adults for over 40 years. So, yes, this program, the Illinois Assistive Technology Program, is for Illinois residents only. But I actually wanted to say that if you would remember, I talked about the actual federal program, Assistive Technology Program, the Assistive Technology Act. That is federal. Because the act is federal, in each state has an assistive technology program. And depending on where they are, some of the programs are in university settings, some of them are standalone nonprofits like IATP, some of them are in university settings. So, it just depends. But each state, depending what state you live in, if you were to Google AT program, assistive technology program, it will tell you where your assistive technology program is located. But each state has it. It looks differently in each state because of how it's run and staffed, but each state has it. I hope that answered your question. I think that's it for me. Thanks.
All right, Paula, thank you so much for an awesome presentation. Um, uh, I feel like I need to take a trip to Springfield. You did a wonderful job sharing about that. We're getting questions through the chat, and I'm going to start reading them off. If you'll give me just a moment here. Um, and for folks in the audience, please continue to share your questions, and I'll continue to move along. Um, I'll first ask, are there any plans of setting up a smart house prototype in Chicago? Springfield is so far away.
Yeah, no, yeah. So the University of Illinois, UIC, has an assistive technology program that they sort of have for the northern area of the state. So it would really be the University of Illinois' question, I think, for them. You know, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign has an actual smart home, standalone home. And so I would definitely Google or look at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and see about smart home, the smart home, actual standalone smart home that they have there. It is, I think, under the Department of Engineering, maybe. I'm not sure where it or if it's part of another um, research or development area of the university, but they do exist, some of them in it throughout the state. So one it would be in Springfield, of course, where we are. The other one is at Urbana-Champaign, standalone. The other program is the University of Illinois Chicago campus. They have the Assistive Technology Program for the northern half of the state.
All right, thank you for answering that. I'll move to
So
the
let me just make sure. Yeah, so the Assistive Technology unit for the University of Illinois is through their Department of Disabilities. Actually, because I was just there actually last week, and it is their Department of Disability and Human Development. They actually have an Institute on Disability and Human Development that is at University of Illinois Chicago campus.
All right, thank you very much for the additional information. Um, the next question is, what does the process of designing and fabricating a custom item via the Makers program look like? How do the item and how do the item recipient and IATP work together to identify the nature of the item that needs to be made? Is an engineer involved with the creation of the
Always,
item?
always, always. Yes. So yes, the engineers, in fact, that's why I don't get in the weeds on that because I don't know it. But these are highly trained individuals who are engineers who are working with the Makers program. I actually think if you go on the website and click onto the Makers part, they may have a Q&A maybe, or maybe you can ask that question of them, but they are on hand to talk through whatever they're going to make for the individual. They're not going to just make something that they don't have any input from the person who needs the whatever it is they're making for them. They bring them along all the way. Obviously, occupational therapists are involved heavily, OTs, PTs. If there's doctors or any kind of other medical or healthcare providers that would be helpful to explain what it is if they have the mobility issues, if they're, paralyzed from the neck down, or do they have use of their hands, or if they're, or, depending on what the disability is, they tailor make it to the person with the team, the whole team approach involved. It is all very comprehensive.
Um, Thank you, Paula. Comprehensive seems to be a theme of the presentation too. I was really struck by how much programming there is and opportunity. I'll move to the next question, which is, can you talk more about assistive technology for vocational rehabilitation? Specifically, are evaluations and trainings taking place in workplaces or homes for people who work from home?
So most of what we do is get referrals from statewide agencies. So the VR, the vocational rehab um, referrals that we get are usually embedded in the rehab services division of the state of Illinois, the Department of Human Services.
Um, I'll thank you. I'll go to the next question. Are there particular unmet needs with devices or other assistive technology you see?
Well, of course, absolutely. I think the biggest unmet need is people don't know about us, right? They don't know that they can access it, that they don't know that they are needing things to help them stay independent or assist them, either because they need advocates, to help them access this, or so we like to say we're the best kept secret in the state of Illinois. People don't know about us. So I think that it would be, oh, yeah, the Abilities Expo. Yes, we will be at the Abilities Expo. Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the biggest gatherings that happen. Great question. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, so I think the unmet needs are the needs out of the persons out there that need us that don't know about us, right? Awareness is a huge unmet need. So it's a constant issue.
And I'll encourage folks. We have a little bit more time if folks have additional questions or follow-ups.
Yeah, I mean, and Cameron, my email, if you want to put it in the chat, I'm happy to answer, or if it's I don't know the answer, I would forward it on to one of the staff at IATP is pbasta@iltech.org.
Um, I am typing that into the chat right now,
Okay, cool.
and sharing that out.
Oh,
Um,
yep, there it is.
I had a question about the demo center. I was curious, um, is this a common type of training facility? Like, how did the idea um, originate for the demo center? It seems like a pretty awesome way for folks to be able to practice, learn, explore.
It is. It's
How did that
incredible.
how did
Yeah.
that come about?
Well, I think that so ITP itself has been in existence for over 36 years. And when they had rented a space in Springfield, and then they basically like 30 years later got the hospital that was no longer utilized, when they were able to branch out and build and utilize this space, because on the first floor of a hospital is usually a cafeteria. It was perfect, right? It was the perfect opportunity to utilize a building like this that had the somewhat kind of infrastructure we needed in order to retrofit a demonstration center, a demo center that could be big enough and utilized big enough to have and include a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, a bathroom, a bedroom, and so you could then get the equipment in there, and with our engineers and with all the assistive technology staff that IATP has, it's just a perfect fit where everybody came together and then literally put the place built the place together. Also, we have on the second floor a really very, very nice conference room, a conference center. So we do host meetings and would be happy to be hosting any kinds of meetings. We're getting the governor to come in for a tour. We'd like to make sure that, again, our legislators know that some of our state funds are utilized for this project and for these services, and so and knowledgeable and well educated as to what these tax dollars are doing. And so, what is it that we do in our building? Again, it was a matter of opportunity was just too good to pass up when the hospital became empty and it was available.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I think I, with if there's no more questions, then I think we'll go ahead and close there. Oh, we got one more, and we've got time, so I'll read it. Is
Yeah, well, yeah, the person who talks about the current state of affairs with the administration, we are all of us in um, that are working in any kind of program, social service program delivery system is worried. We don't know what's happening. And it's very, we only get the snippets that probably everybody else is getting, the readings, the HHS um, relations that come out, all the press releases that come out that are told, oh, the billions are coming. We're reading the same thing you all are reading. And at this point, we are continually being hopeful that the funding is there at least through 2025 and into 2026. But obviously, we need to be strong advocates. We need to advocate for ourselves. We need to constantly be in the ear and in front of our legislators, both federal and state, saying these programs are life-saving. They are not just life-changing, they are life-saving, and they need to stay continually funded. And in fact, if they need more funding, we need to do that because these are our populations that deserve a high quality of life. They are just as much citizens as everybody else. So we are worried, yes, but we are advocating also. And I would suggest that all of you who care deeply just about, quality of life issues should advocate that assisted technology is truly a wonderful thing and needs to continue going through. There's a program to, yeah, yeah. No, we're a 501(c) um, program just like you are. I mean, we're a nonprofit. IATP is nonprofit. So sure, we take donations, we take contributions. So absolutely. Is there, if you want more information, I mean, obviously, the website, of course, would give you that, but that's a great question too, and I appreciate that.
Paula, thank you so much for taking the time and for your
Thank you all.
presentation.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I think
Appreciate it.
we'll transition here.
Yep.
And
Appreciate again your time and your interest. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take
you're
care.